Good evening and happy Monday. So today I'm back again. Yeah, we pod heavy this week. This is one of three podcasts I got going this week. I got Joel and EB or EB and Boynk, however you want to call them, my guys. We're going to talk a little basketball, recap the NBA season, talk about the bubble, and make some playoff predictions. Wednesday, I'm going to have my guy, LaDon, and we're going to talk about his new project, Lone Wolf. And then Saturday, we're going to finish the week strong with Wayne, Chew, and Candace. So we got a big pod week coming. I'm going to bring Pie back next week to talk a little gambling and Atlanta sports. So, hey, it's the big baby. And I'm back. And I got my three friends with me. And I was going to do an opening monologue today, but I changed my mind. So I'm just going to bring them in now so we can get to talking. EB, what's happening?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Young Boynk, what's good with you?
Thanks for having me on.
Hey, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate you all. You know, I think we have a nice little chemistry going here, and we're going to talk, talk some good stuff. We'll try not to curse on this one.
I was actually about to ask you, what's your stance on that?
Oh, we can curse. I'm trying to keep it a bit more, like PG-13.
Yeah.
Not my normal, not my old MF, GD, all of that stuff, but who knows where we go once we start talking about this stuff. Anyways.
So one F-bomb per person.
Ooh, maybe 4.
Yeah, I'm going over.
What's the odds on that?
A lot.
But anyways, man, so what is a superstar? We watch sports oftentimes, and people want to throw around lists. So-and-so's top 5, so-and-so's top 10. But then when you ask somebody their top 5, their top 10, it's usually like 20 people. When we talk about stars and max contracts, players get paid so much money, and usually that max contract is for your top-of-the-line superstar. But we often see stars getting those big deals, and even like great role players like Chris Middleton getting max deals. So I'm going to throw it to you guys first. What is your criteria for superstar?
I'm going to go first, Boynk.
Nah, you got it.
You definitely need to be the best player on at least a contender. And then after that, because if the Clippers win the championship this year, PG's not their best player, but he's obviously still a superstar. So it's kind of hard saying that second person, because if the Bucks win, Giannis is their superstar, but I wouldn't label Chris Middleton one.
I wouldn't label Chris Middleton a star. Would I just label him a great role player?
He's a star, but I wouldn't label him a superstar.
A dim one.
I don't. That one's tough. So definitely the best player on a championship team, because just the way your team has to be constructed to win one these days, you're going to need a superstar. And then it's pretty case by case for your second best player, because if by a miracle Portland wins, I wouldn't say that McCollum is one.
So is Dame a superstar?
Certainly, without a doubt.
Is he better than Steph?
I think when it comes to best point guard in the league, Steph is still number 1, and then Dame is 1A. A lot of the things that Dame has been doing right now are things we've seen Steph do. Steph has a better supporting cast, of course, everyone knows that. But a lot of people forget pre-KD Steph because of 3 years of KD. So 2016 Steph, when it was just Clay and Draymond, Steph was doing things regularly. And granted, Clay is better than CJ, but the supporting casts aren't too far off, minus the KD years. So I'm still giving it to Steph because I haven't seen Steph be surpassed. He's not playing when Dame is taking it to another level like he has now.
Well, one of the best abilities is availability. But let's get back to a superstar, right? So, Boynk, have you figured out in your head what a superstar is?
Yeah, I think. I mean, it's more than, I guess, basketball for me, like, because you have to have like a brand, not like a brand, but like somewhat of a personal brand to be like a superstar, you know, like that's why, I mean, I don't honestly consider like PG, even though he has like his own shoe, like just from this past year, like I don't really consider him like a superstar, even, and probably because he's been like, it wasn't his team for like even on OKC and the Clippers this year. So like, I guess you could say the same thing about AD, but like, I don't know. It's kind of like you got, like they have this aura around them, like, you know, they can, I guess, like lead their team to victory, and kind of like if they go down, like season's done.
And that's kind of where I look at it. I think a superstar is a high-end talent that talent relates to winning.
Yeah.
And when you start thinking about a lot of players, like even AD, is AD a superstar? He's a high-end talent. God, yes, but how much has he won? Again, I'm going to call AD a freaking superstar because are there 5 people in the NBA better than him at basketball? Probably not. Paul George? No. He's like 12 in the league. A damn good 12. But come on, man. Playoff P is a myth.
That is true.
This man had 2 good playoff series, 2 good years in the playoffs, 2013, 2014, and he's been a dud ever since. That
Yeah,
man,
he was certainly on his way up. Like, you know, in Indiana when he took the Heat to 7, I think, in 14, 13. And it's like, oh yeah, he's gonna be a superstar. And then like obviously he had the terrible injury, and you know, he's just been kind of like bouncing around, not bouncing around, but he hasn't really like reestablished himself like as a winner.
all right, so I'm gonna throw some other names at you of superstars. Brad Beal.
No, he's a star.
I'd say he definitely he leveled up this year. And if they can start, you know, keeping John Wall on the floor and winning,
Again?
like at least getting to like the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, I mean they were in the playoffs like quite a bit, but I mean they weren't really winning anything. Like they weren't contenders.
Ben Simmons.
No. No.
The talent is there. I mean, we all know he can't shoot. The talent is there, but he hasn't done enough on the court yet. And then for some reason, even with all the talent he has, the stats also just don't look it. Like he's like a LeBron, very light. And I don't think you can call him a superstar just because he doesn't do enough. Like the talent is there, but he hasn't done enough with it.
I don't think he has like the personality either. Like Kawhi is like Kawhi, and like, you know, absolutely zero personality to the public, but like on the court, he's still like an alpha, and he like, it just like kind of radiates from him. I don't really get that from Ben Simmons.
I got one for you, Donovan Mitchell.
No, they're trying to push him to be one. I think he will be.
I think he's close.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Mitch, I say not yet, but I think he, just like Tatum, they have the superstar swag, right? They are setting themselves up to be superstars. They are winning games young, but they just have not gotten there yet.
Right.
But a young guy who is a superstar, who's in his first playoff, is Luka Doncic. He's a superstar.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has that swag, you know, like even though he hasn't, I mean, granted, it's his second year in the league, but which is mind blowing. But like we're talking about him as like possibly one of the top 5 players in the NBA.
Yeah, 29.99.
What is he, like 21, 20, like some, like, you know?
Yeah, he can't buy beer yet, I don't think.
So like, yeah, I would label him a superstar, even though he hasn't won much, or he hasn't won anything his first playoff game.
All right, so like we're gonna talk about another guy. You think Zion is a superstar?
Yeah.
No.
Make your case, Boynk.
And the dude has like 3 TV commercials already. like he has like he obviously hasn't yet. Well, he hasn't won anything, but he's had like a cult following since he was like a sophomore in high school. Like, and in the 25 games he played, like he kind of lived up to it. You know, like obviously he's a rookie, he's 19 years old, he still has things that he needs to work on, but like he did well, as he just needs to stay on the court. And he has I think he has a personality for it. Like he's exciting, you know. So I think he will be.
So why is he not a superstar now, Eric?
I think so. The word like superstar, if we're talking about just like notoriety, obviously, yes, he's one. He's probably been one since high school, just with all the like dunking videos. But just with what he's done on the court, his rookie season was short, but he produced a lot during. So I would liken his rookie season to like Linsanity in 2012, where everyone really liked what Jeremy Lin was doing, and you were like, is this sustainable? And maybe it was, like, we didn't know back then. What Zion is doing, I actually think is sustainable. I think he will certainly become an on-the-court superstar. But right now, I think it's all, he's a fun-loving guy, got a great smile, can jump out the gym, super like freakish athlete. So he's a superstar because of notoriety on like social media and how much like the audience loves him and what he can do, but not just because of production. So if we're talking like the way Kawhi's superstar, no. But if we're talking about the way like you just love what he brings to the table, then yes, he's a superstar.
So I think that's like the interesting thing about superstar, because I think for some people, their personality, their style of play contributes to them being more of a superstar than their talent, right? And then you have some people who are just undeniable because their skill set is so good. Like, think about AD, just so damn good. But like, outside of that's all, folks, on his last game in New Orleans, what do we know that he's ever said or done that's made us care?
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, but he's just so damn good that you don't have a choice, that you can't deny his superstar ability. So I think there's like this sliding scale of your image, your talent, your style of play, your winning, your notoriety. Like Tim Duncan was as great as they come. He was a superstar talent, but you name one Tim Duncan quote, and I'll give you $100. Don't name one, because I won't give it to you.
He said hi once, I'm sure.
Fuck you. Oh, there's my F-bomb. But anyway, so we're talking about Zion, and I don't know about y'all, but I felt like the NBA and the TV networks were forcing Zion down our throats. Pause. I mean, from the beginning of the season, the Pelicans had so many primetime games that ended up being a waste of a primetime slot because no Zion, because he was fat and hurt. Then you look at the bubble and the way it was set up. Like, they let teams with a chance to get in come, and the Pelicans, I'm going to say they came because that was not coming what they did. They just showed up, and they showed up, and they were pretty bad. But again, like, even if you look at the TV slots, they had a good number of primetime games for us to watch. And I just really think that the NBA is trying to force Zion on us because they see the end of LeBron coming, and they don't have faith that Giannis is a superstar that can be the next face of the league.
I mean, I think Giannis can be the face of the league. I mean, he certainly has the talent. You know, his playing style is exciting. I mean, there's nobody else like him, and I think that's like one of the biggest things. You know, like LeBron, like there was not too many dudes that were 6'9", 260, you know, making the plays that he was making. And same with Giannis. Yeah, on my player, yeah. Same thing with Giannis, though. He was like 6'11", you know, he's a 6'11" guard, but like also center at the same time. So I mean, like he's a 1-of-1. So like I don't think that they have a choice, but like he's obviously taking the league by storm, and he's going to continue to do that. He's en route to his second MVP.
Prediction. Here's where I push back on that, though. And some of this is not my original thought process, but you know what? If you steal from everybody, it's not wrong. It's research.
I don't think that's how that works.
Yes, it is. He's playing at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, West Coast time. That tells me that you have no faith in him being your faith of your league, because why would you put him at a dead time where people are at work? Like, you're driving no ratings.
He's also playing the Orlando Magic. Like, no one wants to watch Evan Fournier. Like, so I don't think that's as much on Giannis.
Yeah, I wouldn't put too much stock into like the TV schedule because, like, I mean, it's just all jacked up. Heard today that they were going to try to like run through these first couple series like with no wait. Like once they finish, I think they're honestly just like, yeah, trying to get through the games.
The game
prime time game on the East Coast. Like before I started the podcast, it was like the Nets and the Raptors. Like,
yeah,
they knew KD wasn't coming. They knew Kyrie wasn't coming. Like, who wants to watch the Nets?
And don't be surprised if the 4-5 gets switched to a later time on Wednesday now, because the game went into overtime. Was actually a good game today. Like, no one's trying to watch the 1-8 and 2-7 in the East because it's boring. The delta between the two teams is
especially the Magic.
When did LeBron play his playoff games? I'm not talking about this year because those are going to be exciting games. When LeBron was carrying the East, he was primetime, baby. It didn't matter who
also won playoff games at 10 a.m.
Yeah, you couldn't even do that. Like, the earliest playoff game had to be at 4:30 Pacific time, just because everyone was going to work. So you can't even compare the two because half the nation right now is working from home, and then a lot of people just aren't working at all.
So again, if people want to watch Giannis, if he was going to be the face of the league, they would still put him at a later time because it would still drive ratings. And now that they're actually looking at people watching outside of their houses, because in some states, like the great state that Joel and I are from, you can still go outside and do whatever the hell you want. So those bar ratings actually matter. And that just tells me that the league itself, the TV networks, don't see Giannis. I'm not talking about the talent, but the personality, the person, as somebody that people want to watch. And another thing about him, I don't think he can be the face of the league because he gives us no personality at all. Like, we don't see any personality. And this is going to come off as racist or bigoted or something like that, but his lack of command of the English language makes him that. It does not make him as relatable because it's a struggle sometimes to understand what he says, and he does not have the traditional mannerisms and comedic gestures and just American cultural dynamics that we can all relate to, and that makes him that much more difficult to be the face of the league because we haven't had a Euro as the face of the league yet.
Like, Luka's on his way.
And also think about it, like, who plays tomorrow? So we got the Lakers in Portland. Do Miami and Indiana play tomorrow, or do they play today?
Tomorrow.
So those two games right there are more exciting. The other West Coast game is at Houston and OKC.
Houston, OKC.
That's more exciting. Every game you have it's just a more exciting matchup. So it's not as much Giannis is boring. It's just we have better matchups people want to watch. Like, no, it's not even on Giannis. Why would you put a Houston Russell Westbrook against his former team? Why would you put that on earlier? What's up?
Russ is out.
Yeah, but they're still playing his former team. Like, why would you put that game earlier than Giannis playing the Orlando Magic, a team nobody cares about in a small market that's not good? Like, you're going to put that game earlier because as a game, it's not must-watch TV. Giannis himself might be, but, like, the matchup is not good, and it's not better than the other 3 games tomorrow.
Is Giannis even must-watch TV?
Yes. He's must-watch basketball for sure.
So y'all are higher on Giannis than I am. That's
yeah. I mean, he's like I said, he's gonna be the 2-time MVP.
The man holds down R2, runs at the rim, and presses square.
Does it go in?
I mean, like, he's 6'11", and he's like a 6'11" guard, but also a big man. Like, there's nobody else like him. Like, I guess.
Yeah, because the most players can shoot.
Yeah, and I mean, like, he's not a good shooter.
Averaging 30 points. Like, I don't care what anyone has to say about how he can't shoot. He's putting in 30 points a game, and he's behind Harden. And is there like Harden and Dame, and that's it? Like, there's 2-3 players in the league averaging more points than him. He's clearly doing something right. If everyone could just put their head down and get to the basket, they would.
Again, like, I think he's really good at basketball. He's very good at basketball. He is a top 3 player in the league. But when it's crunch time, man, like, I watched him in the Houston game in a tight game. When Houston was up 3, they knew who wasn't getting the ball. And if you are going to be the face of the league, you at least got to be the person who's going to control what happens in crunch time. And we knew that Giannis wasn't, because he can't shoot a 3 ball.
People said the same thing about LeBron for the longest time, and he was still the face of the league. And you knew in crunch time, LeBron's going to pass the ball. He doesn't want to get fouled. He's not going to shoot it. And LeBron was still, without a doubt, the face of the league. And Giannis right now, he's not. He doesn't want to shoot the ball in crunch time. He wants to
doesn't even want the ball.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, his team is in first place by a landslide. Like, he's the best player in the league, and more often than not, in the games he's in, his team is winning, and they don't even get to crunch time. Like, it doesn't even come to that. They're resting him the whole fourth quarter. So we're going to argue about the few times they're in crunch time.
Yeah, because that's what matters in the playoffs, when it slows down and people can build that wall. And you see what happened last year when they built the wall.
Last year they built the wall with the claw. Like, the claw is on the Clippers now. Who's building a wall for him now?
We'll get into that later, but I like Miami's chances.
Okay.
Bam, 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 bam. Let's see what else do I got here. So, yeah, we're getting ready for the playoffs. And, you know, they have the whole play-in this year. And it's kind of something similar to what happens in soccer. Do you guys like the play-in, or do you think it's something that we should get rid of, something we should expand, keep it as it is? We'll let you open this one up, EB.
I like it a lot. I didn't like it this year because I thought it should have just been top 8 from both conferences go, and that's it. But I do like it.
I feel like that's you, a Lakers fan, wanting to see the Grizzlies and not having to see the Trailblazers.
That, I think, would have been, obviously, yes, a benefit to us, but just the whole optics of, like, COVID, and we have to limit people going, but we're going to send in these extra teams. Like, the Kings didn't have a chance in hell. The Suns, it was actually kind of nice watching their run. So it was cool having more basketball. I get why you put these teams in there, more games, more revenue. But in the essence of safety, I think it should have been the top 8. If this were just a normal season, I think the play-in is fantastic. So I think it's kind of overshadowed this year because there's a pandemic going on. And it's like, why do we have all these extra teams here? But in a regular year, like, I really like the play-in. I think it's something they should keep around. And the game this year was fantastic. So it's something I look forward to in the future. I think some Adam Silver should keep.
Yeah, I agree. I like the play-in format. Added like a little extra excitement, like, you know, pre-playoff excitement. I disagree with you a little bit, Eric, about the extra teams. Like, they had to make it. I mean, it wasn't going to be fair anyway, and they, like, at least this way, you could, you know, they had like plausible deniability for, like, oh, like, you know, the Suns didn't make the playoffs because, like, they just, even though they went 8-0, like, the Trailblazers just beat them. And, like, you know, if they had just gotten cut out of, like, this entire scenario, like, I don't think that would have been fair, you know. And it would have been, there's already going to be like an asterisk around the season. So you might as well, like, try to, like, hash it out as much as you can, like, you know, pre-playoffs.
So
yeah,
you said asterisk, right?
And there's an asterisk period. There's no way you can, like, decrease the font size on the asterisk. Once it's in there, it's in there. So if it went 1 through 8 period, or took the 22 teams they took, like, I just don't think it would have mattered.
So y'all think this season is going to have an asterisk? Y'all don't think that the winner of this year is actually went through more adversity than a team in a regular season?
It depends who wins. If the Lakers, Clippers, or Bucks win, it's going to have an asterisk, but most people will be like, one of those 3 was probably going to win anyways. But if somebody else comes up and wins that typically, like, you didn't think had a chance, then the asterisk will be bigger. because they'll be in the environment and there's no home court advantage. So I think it depends on who wins, dictates how big the asterisk is and how much people will contest it.
So here's my thing. I think that there will be people who try to give it an asterisk, but I don't think it deserves an asterisk because, yeah, there's no home court advantage, but there's also no travel. And there's no fans making noise. Like someone like LeBron, yeah, he's battle tested, he's been through it, so no fans, whatever. But like for a guy like Giannis who hasn't proven it yet on the big stage, a young guy like Tatum, a young guy like Luka, you know, those are some guys who could actually benefit from there being no fans. Like some people think the reason why TJ Warren was getting buckets was because there was no distractions. He was just out there playing. Some people say the reasons why the Suns were playing so well was because they're not in Phoenix anymore. And apparently Phoenix is a hotbed for the honeys. So they just didn't have the distractions of life outside around them. So they're just hooping, playing basketball.
Have to ask T-Jack about that one.
Hey, yo, Jack, Phoenix got the honeys?
Yeah, I think the fans that's a part of it. So if you want to say like the fans aren't part of it, the travel is part of it. So that I don't really give. And at the end of the day, like some of these teams are coming in with majority of their core intact, but you have a different team. Like the loss of Avery Bradley and Rajon Rondo is huge for the Lakers, especially in this matchup, because Dame's going to be running wild and there's no perimeter person to check him. Like Dion Waiters not going to check him. Maybe Caruso, but like it's not the same.
Waiters? Who's coming on Waiters Island, Eric?
Yeah. So all I'm saying is it's different now because some of the teams went with different personnel. That's the biggest thing. Of course, the fans and the no travel and the home court advantage. But I think the biggest thing is the team you started with is not the team you're ending with.
That I mean, simply it's just different. Like,
yeah,
like you know, even like the '99 like shortened lockout, like people still call it like, you know, the lockout season. The playoffs were like condensed, or the season was like condensed, and like, you know, that led to a bunch of injuries in the playoff, and we'll see if that happens. But like, if it does, then it's going to be something, because like this is just different.
All right, so with that, this season is very different, and I think the awards are different because, you know, they said, hey, the bubble, your awards are due before the bubble starts. Oh, well, shit, I haven't watched basketball in 3 months. So what biases do I have? Did I lose? What information did I lose? So you start thinking about the awards, and we're going to get into our awards predictions. But before we get into that, I want to ask you all, do players who play well but are on bad teams deserve awards?
They can be an all-star.
I think it depends on the award and like how bad your team is.
That's true.
All right, so could you put Trae Young on the All-NBA team?
No.
All right, so first award, MVP. I got Bron. Here's why.
Shocker.
Yeah.
What do you mean, shocker? I'm very.
You don't like Giannis and you love Bron, like.
Yeah. Try to explain this one in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that ragtag. Look at that ragtag bunch of players the Lakers got, and he got them to a freaking 1 seed. Yeah, he had Anthony Davis, who was the second. I mean, the best number 2 probably in NBA, not in NBA history, but top 5 number 2s in NBA history. They played really well, but the way they play goes against what the NBA norm is right now. The NBA is a lot of small ball and shooting. They played a more traditional style of basketball. LeBron was able to keep that ship steady the entire season with the different distractions on the outside. Think about this, man. It's the trade deadline. The trade deadline's coming up. Kobe passes away. Rob Pelinka and Kobe are best freaking friends. And so you don't even have your GM in the right mindset to make the best moves to improve the team, but it did not matter. Coming down the stretch before COVID, they knocked off the Clippers. They knocked off the Bucks. They were looking damn good, like the best team in the league. And as the best player on the best team in the league, giving you 25, 10, and 8 a night. I'm not even going to get into the fact that it's your 17 because I don't think that should have anything to do with it. But if you look at the Lakers with LeBron on the court and LeBron off the court, there's a tremendous difference. Whereas you take the Bucks, yeah, Giannis is gonna win the MVP. He's going to win the MVP because the PER is out of the fucking roof. They're the Bucks are like like historically great point differential team, yes, but they have a great infrastructure over there, and it's plug and play, and it's just like, okay, you're gonna do all of this. You're gonna play only 30 minutes a night, then you're gonna get to the playoffs and not even make it to the fucking finals.
You sound ridiculous.
Yeah, I know that his PER is good, so he's very efficient, and the point differential is high, so they're beating the shit out of every team they play. But why should he get it for that? Well,
so you're telling me if Giannis was taken off the Bucks, and I don't know, just like average, 3 or 4, whatever position he plays now, average, role players put back in, that team is maybe an 8th seed in the East.
And if the Lakers lose LeBron, they're in the lottery.
Please. You don't believe that, do you, Adam?
Yes, I do. Hold on, I'm about to pull up Giannis's VORP. You go, maybe pull up the advanced analytics over here. Who y'all's MVP picks? Joel?
Giannis.
Why?
For the reason I just said, if you take him off of that team, the Bucks with Chris Middleton as their best player, maybe an 8th seed, maybe.
They're in the playoffs.
Take Bron off of the Lakers, you still have AD.
And yeah, you had AD in New Orleans, and what did you get year in and year out?
He went to the playoffs.
an 8th seed. If you take LeBron off the Lakers become the New Orleans Pelicans with AD.
Yeah. That's still a playoff team.
Barely. If.
Shit, the year that Dame beat them, weren't they like the 4 or the 5 or something?
Yeah, they were favored in that series.
What'd you say?
You mean the year they beat Dame?
When they beat Dame.
Yeah, when they beat Dame.
They went off.
No, they were 6 seed.
So
They still
higher than an 8.
Yeah.
Again, yeah. I love Anthony Davis to talent. I think he's a damn good basketball player.
He's like top 5 in the league. Like,
yeah, but his high end production, his great PER has not related into just great winning year in and year out. He has not won consistently in the league yet.
Would you rather have him or would you rather have Chris Middleton on your team?
Come on, man. Don't ask me stupid questions now.
So I'm saying he has a worse number 2 and he's doing better.
He has a worse number 2, but he has a better 3 through 17 to include head coach.
I won't even say that. I mean, I don't like Mike Budenholzer because, like, did he get fired from the Hawks or he left the Hawks?
No, he left the Hawks because they decided to tank, and he was like, yo, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, well then, I guess I have no reason not to like him. Because I wouldn't.
Yeah, no, but I am happy we have the coach we have for the Hawks. I don't know his name. I just know the black guy with a bald head and a beard.
Lloyd Pierce.
Yeah, Lloyd Pierce. There we go. He's doing some great social justice reform. But both of y'all have Giannis for MVP. Shocker. Chalk ass niggas.
I mean, I'm not gonna feed in. I will say, if the season had gone on as scheduled, I would have been okay with Bron getting the MVP. With the that narrative that they were that was going on. Obviously, LeBron was gaining steam, and if he had finished the season strong, I would have been perfectly okay with that. But because the season just dropped dead, and Giannis was scheduled to miss 2 or so weeks with a knee injury, I wanted LeBron to get the MVP. I was kind of happy, and then, but I don't think you can go back to that point because I mean I don't know. It's just to me it lost its steam.
Fair. So that takes me to what Ramona Shelburne said. And pretty much she said that she votes based on narratives and not on the numbers in the eye test. I personally think that too many writers care about the narrative and not what they're actually seeing on the court. When I watch LeBron play basketball against Giannis, I see LeBron as more important, more valuable to his team than Giannis is to his team. I see LeBron as a better player, head-to-head, face-to-face. When they look at each other eye-to-eye, like Tevin Campbell said in a Goofy movie. But
you just brought up the narratives, though.
Huh?
I said you just brought up the narratives.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
I'm talking about my eye test.
Okay.
LeBron carrying a ragtag bunch of basketball players.
So what about the whole like Kobe and Rob Pelinka thing that you were just talking about?
Me saying that his GM was not in the best mindset to make the best moves at the deadline because he was mourning the loss of one of his best friends. I didn't say that had anything to do with LeBron's play on the court, but I'm talking about their ability to make moves at the trade deadline. That's all I'm talking about.
But you were saying that's why you were like gonna like that's why you would vote for him.
Yeah, because they couldn't get better at the trade deadline.
Was that
carrying J.R. Smith and Waiters Island?
What is Rob Pelinka being able to, or in this case, not being able to acquire more talent have to do with how LeBron was playing on the court? Like, I'm a diehard Lakers fan, and I think, yeah, like Joel said, LeBron was gaining a lot of steam, and if his trajectory would have continued in that upwards direction, they had just beaten the Clippers and the Bucks in the same weekend, then we're probably having a different conversation. And I wanted him to win it just because he's on my team and because he is older, and it's great to see him doing this still in year 17. But I think Giannis is playing better basketball.
My eye test tells me no.
Your eye test of that week, and LeBron had one hell of a week. But as far as the whole season goes, Giannis is having a better season. And, like, the numbers aren't even close.
I'm not mad if Giannis wins the MVP. I'm not mad. He's going to win it.
You're not going to be happy. That's for sure.
Look, y'all are not going to build these false narratives about me not liking Giannis.
You built it yourself. Like, it's not a false narrative.
I think he's a really good basketball player. He's great. Top 3 in the league.
So should he have won the MVP last year?
Huh?
Should he have won the MVP last year?
Absolutely.
But this year when Bron's in the running, no sirree.
Man, he pulled that team from out of the playoffs to 1 seed. New coach. Come on now.
Yeah, I have nothing more to say on this.
Well, rookie of the year. Who you got for Roy?
Ja. I think anybody who says otherwise is ridiculous.
Well, I'm going to say Ja.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad.
Nothing.
No.
Most improved player.
BI.
Yeah, I go BI. BI like slightly ahead of Bam.
So I got Bam, but again, we're plucking hairs here, and I only gave it to Bam because they end up being a playoff team, and BI and them weren't a playoff team. That's just what I boiled it down to.
I'm not mad about Bam. It was a very close one.
Yeah.
So on that most improved conversation, Luka is a finalist, which I just think is just wrong. I looked at the difference in his numbers. It was definitely steady progression that we expected from Luka. But Luka said Devontae Graham deserves to be there, not him. How do y'all feel about that?
I'm okay with it. Like Devontae Graham was like what? I don't have basketball.
I got the numbers. He went from 4.7 to 18.2.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was probably around 4 and became like a, throwing in 18 a night. Like,
yeah,
on a bad team.
Probably, yeah.
What Barkley said, somebody got to score the points.
What'd you say?
Barkley said somebody has to score the points.
Yeah, but the team was bad last year. Granted, Kemba was there last year, so I do get the point. Those points had to go somewhere.
Yeah, but like Devontae Graham, like he's not supposed to be scoring 18 a night.
No, that's supposed to be Scary Terry.
Yeah, like Devontae. That's why it's like, yeah, it's like for him, it's like, yeah, like he's not supposed to be scoring 18 a night.
What about 6th man of the year?
Clippers.
That one was tough. I gave it to Schroeder, but Trez was right there.
Lou Will or Trez. That one was like throw a dart, see where it sticks. Like I'd be fine with any of those.
Yeah, I wrote. I don't care. Either of those three get it. I don't really care.
I guess Lou will, since he's from Atlanta, for the hometown guy.
He's from Gwinnett.
Yeah, South Gwinnett, I think, North Gwinnett.
Who cares? He's from Migos land.
No.
Coach of the year.
Billy D.
I'm gonna go with Nick Nurse again.
I went with Billy D, and I actually wrote down Billy D. Like actual Billy D, not Bill Donovan or whatever.
Yes, we understood.
Yeah, Colt 45.
Keep what was that? Atlanta Zoo, keep a Colt 45 like Billy D. But no, I picked them too because they weren't supposed to make the playoffs. They're a 5 seed. They're supposed to be tanking, and they're gonna get out of the first round. Hot take.
Yeah, I had Nick Nurse because Kawhi, supposedly the reason that they won that championship. Actually, no, not supposedly. He is the reason that they won that championship. And here they are as the second in the East.
Yeah. But like they lost Kawhi, but that was just a very good team. Like it was a very balanced, even team. And losing Kawhi, they were still going to be good. I didn't see them being the 2 seed. I thought they'd be more like the 5-6 seed.
Yeah, I thought they were going to
be they should not be here.
Yeah, which I mean, I'm fine with Billy Donovan. I like what he's done down in OKC as well.
Y'all think Frank Vogel should get some votes?
Absolutely not.
I mean, I guess if you want to go down the narrative route of which actually this one makes sense of leading your team through a tough time and still keeping them on track. But I don't think he should get votes.
That's how Lakers podcast here today. All right, so we're gonna. I know I talked about doing an all bubble shit. I didn't do that. Sorry, guys. Let's get into our All NBA first team. I'm gonna lead off with mine. I got Bron, James Harden, Luka Doncic, Giannis, and AD. What you got there, Eric?
I got Bron, Giannis, James Harden, Kawhi, and Dame.
I have AD, Giannis, Kawhi, LeBron, James Harden.
All right, so Boynk, we had the same team, huh?
You had Luka, I think.
Yes.
You had Luka.
Kawhi.
You had Kawhi. How many games did Kawhi play?
Like 57.
It was enough.
Was it?
I looked at his basketball reference today. He had over 55. I think it was like 57 games.
I looked it up and I forgot. He played 57.
I just didn't feel right giving it to Luka over Kawhi.
Why?
I just don't think better. Luka on my second team. I don't know. I guess Kawhi's pedigree so far, which obviously should not it's for this season only, but let's be honest, it does factor in.
I mean, I think it factors in, but we'll probably get into a little bit later. But I mean, Kawhi's a really great player, but they were a playoff team last year. He's a product of the culture. I mean, you get KP back, yeah, but then Luka levels up.
He did level up for sure.
He's 29, 9, and 9. This man was damn near a 30-point triple-double every night. That is first team All-NBA. Sorry.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready on Luka yet.
Yeah,
it sounds like you're punishing him for being a young buck.
No, I like that. He was 20.
Part of it, but also what are Kawhi's numbers? I know Kawhi's putting up definitely close scoring numbers. He plays much better defense.
His numbers aren't close.
And you don't defense, so
Kawhi has to be at least 26.
Game. He was 2 feet.
Kawhi 27, 7, and 5.
Yeah, he plays much better defense. His team is a 2 seed, and most people think when healthy they're the unanimous 1 seed. Last year they were an 8 seed. They say we're a playoff team, but last year they were an 8 seed. So I think it goes to Kawhi.
All right, so here's my second team: CP3, Dame, Kawhi, Siakam, and Joker. Real quick on Dame, the reason why I couldn't put Dame first team was because they were out of the playoffs before the bubble. So sorry, you can't be first team. I think you're great, but your team just didn't win enough. And I know they had injuries. I get it, but y'all just didn't win enough. Sorry, you can't be first team, Dame.
I got the Joker, Luka, Siakam, Dame, and CP3.
I got Joker, Siakam, CP3, Luka, and AD.
So there's no arguments here because our top 10 is the same.
Yeah.
All right, third team. Here's where it gets crazy. Like, third team was hard.
Yeah.
I go Ben Simmons, Russ, Jimmy Butler, Jason Tatum, and Embiid.
I had that, except I had Gobert in for Embiid.
I told Eric before you hopped on in pre-production, Gobert's great on the defensive end, but he's just so bad offensively. I just could not put him on my All-NBA team this year comfortably.
I just get so frustrated with Joel Embiid.
Probably because he makes your name sound bad.
What'd you say?
He makes your name sound bad.
He does. That's like honestly like my main frustration that he goes by Joel instead of Joel. Like, your mama named Joel. I call him Joel. But
I remember the first 3 months of knowing you, I thought your name was Joel.
yeah, probably due to Kelvin Davis. Just
Archer legend.
eyes.
The real KD.
Yeah.
That man had no left hand, had the most luckiest jumper that went in too often.
It wasn't even a lucky jumper. It was ugly, but it was wet. Like, it was going in.
I hated his game.
Yeah, you had to be you won a championship 4 years straight in Archer Hall, right?
Yeah, like,
Right hand layups, bullshit jumpers that I shouldn't guard that go in. And if it's game point, he's going to win. I love being on this team.
Yeah.
he's slow. He doesn't have fleshy handles, but you're not going to take the ball from him. And if he creates space, he's going to knock down the jumper.
And somehow he got to the basket, but he wasn't fast.
No.
And he didn't have the handle that got the separation either. I don't know. We're not going to talk about Kelvin Davis' basketball game on this podcast.
You realize people are going to be like looking up Kelvin Davis saying
Like, nah, he's an Archer player.
But yeah, I couldn't put Joel Embiid on there because he just I have to look up how many games he actually played this year. But he just doesn't bring it every night, and like that's very annoying
For me.
Before we get into your team, Eric, you talk about he doesn't bring it every night, and I've been hearing this narrative about players not having dog, right, and not being good leaders, and it's two different arguments, right? Because AD gets the whole he's not a leader, he's not a dog, he's just a great talent. Then Kyrie gets the he's a dog, but he's not a great leader. If you're good as hell, are you supposed to be the leader of your team?
Yeah, I think so. Like it's like part of the job. Like people are like inherently going to look to you to like set the tone of the team, and like if you aren't bringing it in, it's like, oh, all right, I guess I can take tonight off too. Little refill action.
Yeah, my cup runneth dry.
Yeah.
So
Thought about
I
that.
just want to push back on that. Like, for me, everybody who's good at stuff isn't necessarily a good leader. Like, we've worked with people who are really good at their job technically, but when it comes to like developing people, leading people, they're piss poor, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying everybody that is the best on the team is a good leader. I think that they should be, though.
I just don't think that should be a requirement, because some people are just selfishly good at stuff. And like, hey, let Kyrie just be good as hell and bat. Put people around him to actually be leaders and let them lead. Let the leaders lead and let the good people be good. Now, if you are both, I think it's great. Like the way people talk about Dame Lillard, as like a great leader. When we talk about Steph Curry, LeBron James as great players and great leaders, I think that's important. But bro, ain't nobody said KD was a great leader. But if you need 2 points, tell me who you want instead of him.
Yeah, but he also like at the end of the day like ruined a locker room and just like had a gray cloud over the Warriors for like his last year.
He didn't ruin that locker room. Draymond ruined that locker room when he said he called him a bitch ass nigga and told him we could win one without you. We won one without you, we can win another one without you. That's what ruined the locker room.
It's still KD like not saying like what his intentions were, and like I get it if like you don't know what your intentions are yet, but like say
I don't owe y'all that. Just know I'm here for these 82.
But do you know that? How do you know that if you're following somebody, if they're just like, oh, like dude has a contract coming up, oh, like is he still going to be here next year? Like imagine if your CEO was like didn't have like a date to leave, and it's just like influx of like do I need to listen to this guy or like.
Here it becomes, what are your requirements of me in order to get to the next milestone? Is that what it is? All right, bet. Here I go.
My thing is, in almost every job, you have people in these designated leadership positions. On the team, everybody's job is literally to play basketball. So you got to draw your cue from somebody, and why not have it? Why would it not be like just naturally our best player? That's who we're going to look to. In a job, you have a person whose title it is to lead. On a team, it's like, hey, we're going to look to you because we're giving you the ball. We're taking our cues from you as the best player. So I know it may be unfair to a KD and a Kyrie who just want a ball, but that's just going to be part of it. When you are the best player on the team, people are going to take their cues from you because you are the most talented and gifted.
And you know that them two motherfuckers come out and they want to win. What else can I ask you for?
But I don't know if that's the case though.
Well, they want to get their numbers in.
Because Kyrie be like not talking to his teammates for like weeks at a time, and it's like the fuck's that about? Does he like me or like what's going on? Did I piss him off?
And I think the Kyrie thing is that him not talking to teammates. That's just like, hey, bro, like that's just poor adult behavior. Like communicate your issues, talk to people.
Why? All I need to do is show up and ball. Remember. So you are saying there is some leadership that goes along with it.
I don't think communicating with the people that you go to work with is leadership. That's just decorum.
And you don't think that as someone who's the best player on a team, your level of decorum, you're just automatically looked to with more responsibility? There's a certain way you're going to need to behave as the best player on this team and the face of the team, whether you want to or not?
I think it's overstated.
If you're the best player on a team and we bring in just some role play, a Chucky Atkins, because he's got good leadership skills, and Chucky Atkins starts telling you what to do, you're going to be like, bro, I dropped 27 tonight. I'm not listening to you. That's why we need you as the best player on the team to get everyone in line, because who's stepping to you? You're the best player on the team. The dude that's averaging 10 and 7 is not going to be like, bro, you can't tell me what to do. I get 10 and 7. He's going to be like, all right.
So you say that I was listening to Knuckleheads yesterday, catching up on them. Pretty good podcast. Not better than mine, but it's a pretty good podcast. And they were interviewing David Fizdale, and they were talking about like some of the issues that LeBron had when he came to Miami and how he wanted to have people in the locker room. And they were like, nah, we don't do that. Like, we just don't, like, this is for players only. And D Wade said something. He was like, all right, cool, yeah. And then UD was like, yeah, nah, bro, like we don't do that shit here. And like, when's the last time UD has played a meaningful minute in the NBA?
But that's different though, because UD was like in Miami.
And like, Udonis Hill was not the leader of the team. Could he provide like some veteran leadership at times and like give some good advice? Yes, but you're not looking at Udonis Haslem to lead the team. Like somebody imparting wisdom here and there and leading the team are two very different things. And no one was looking at UD to be the leader of that team.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying he could check people.
Yeah, and like you definitely can check people. Like I'm sure if I had to imagine, like Jared Dudley is probably like checking LeBron and like the vet guys. Like you need that person too, like to check the superstars in case they suck. But like ideally, they don't suck as being a leader.
I agree. Again, I agree that you want your best player to be your best leader, but I don't think your best player has to be your best leader.
I think if it's not one of your best two players, it's just not going to work out well for you. Like you do need it to be one of your best two players if you're going to win.
Fair. Okay, let's get back to our third team All NBA, right? And who you got, Eric?
I got Rudy, Kyle Lowry, Middleton, Tatum, and Jimmy Butler.
Joel, did you have Jimmy Butler on your third team?
Yeah, I did.
All right. We were pretty much in lockstep on the All NBA teams, and there's not really much stimulating debate content to pull out of that. I made an almost team. It's 6 people, not 5. I went with Ice Trey, Kyle Lowry, Brad Beal, Gobert, Middleton, and Bam.
Yeah, I'm fine with all those. Maybe, I mean, like you said earlier, like Trae Young was like not even as much as there's no way he was going to be able on any of them.
No, I don't think he makes All NBA. But I feel like for a Brad Beal guy whose team went to the bubble, but he didn't, he's become forgotten about in some of these conversations about All NBA.
Yeah, he leveled up this year.
Yeah, he averaged 30.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Devin Booker's close, and Devin Booker will probably be All NBA next year.
Yeah, I think so.
So let's get into our playoff predictions, right? And we're going to open with the East. And here's something I've talked to y'all about privately. I don't think I've talked about it publicly. I think the narrative of the East being weak has been overblown. And for many years, the East was a terrible conference. It was 1, maybe 2 teams. But now I think the conferences are starting to level out. Is the West deeper than the East? Absolutely. No argument here. But you look at the East, 1 through 6, if Indiana's hurt because Sabonis is hurt, but you go 1 through 6, there are solid teams there. And even Brooklyn, the 7th seed, they're not great this year. But like if you look at these top 7 teams, who's are in Orlando, the 8th seed, who cares about them? But if you look at the top 7 teams right now, a year from now, I think it's a different conversation because I don't see any of these teams getting, well, maybe Philly, but most of these teams, I don't see them getting weaker. I see them being tougher next year. And then who didn't make the playoffs? You got the Zards, the Gizzards, as Joe House would say, Joe Apartment. They didn't make the playoffs, but they're going to come back with Brad Beal and a healthy John Wall, so they may be a contender too. And the East may have 8 teams, just like the West has 8 teams that we want to watch. The West has like 9 or 10, but still. Am I crazy here?
No, I like looking at it right now. 1 through 6 for both conferences is pretty similar. Like, I think who's the 6th seed? Philly for the East.
Yeah.
Philly.
If Philly played Utah, I think that's a 7-game series that could go either way. And I think that's pretty much the case for almost everybody 1 through 6 except the Clippers. If the Clippers played Toronto, I think the Clippers would probably handle Toronto in a series. But 1 through 6 otherwise is pretty even. And then when you get to 7 and 8, I think Dallas handles Brooklyn. And then I think Portland, who's not your typical 8 seed, would handle Orlando. But 1 through 6 is pretty similar.
All right, so let's keep it easy. So we're going to go – we got Milwaukee, Orlando. I got Milwaukee in a clean sweep. How about you guys?
Same.
Yeah. Nobody wants to watch that.
Ain't nobody going to watch that. Miami, Indiana. I got Miami.
Was down there.
What'd you say?
So I didn't even know Orlando was down there for real.
I mean, they got Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon, the guy who got robbed from the dunk contest twice. So he says.
I mean, I do feel bad for actually when Isaac tore his ACL. That's when I figured out they were down there.
All lives matter. You got Indiana and Miami. I got Miami pulling that out in a nice 6 game. It's probably going to be closer than it should be. There's no Sabonis, and my brother Oladipo is compromised, but he's still down there. So what do you guys say there?
I had the same.
Yeah, I think Miami's going to pull it out in like 6, maybe 7. Just, I mean, yeah. Jimmy Butler losing to TJ Warren.
We might have a TJ Warren sighting.
I hope so. He was a no-show the last time they played.
Well, yeah, he's scared of Jimmy. You know what I mean? Most people are scared of Candyman. Boston, Philly.
Boston in 5.
I got Boston in 6 just because I believe that Joel Embiid will pull a couple of games of like he's going to show us why we love him and hate him at the same time. He's going to have one of those monster games against Boston because like Daniel Tice cannot guard him. And his Cantor cannot play in this series.
So this was the only East series that I was like almost 50-50 on because the two teams are just like unknowns kind of because like you got Kimba's knee, like you don't know what you're going to get from Kimba, which I mean like they have Jason Brown, Jason Tatum, like both great.
Well, Jaylen Brown is limping off the court right now. It's like a little it's nothing crazy, but he's definitely limping off right now.
Yeah, and then on the flip side, like you don't know what you're going to get from Embiid, you know, every night. So like this one, I mean, I'm still going to say Boston, but this one I was honestly like kind of a toss up on, but I'll say Boston in 6, maybe 7.
Well, you know, I was yelling Boston to the finals, and then Kimba's knee. I'm like, I'm gonna walk this one off.
Yeah, he's. It depends on how his knee is. I mean, he didn't look great in the warm up games and these seeding games.
I've listened to a couple of smart people who are plugged in who are saying that Kimba's he's good now. But I mean, again, that could just be messaging that the Celtics won out.
Let's say like the extra 2 weeks, like on top.
Yeah, it's been weird for Mark. Now all of a sudden it's good that he sprinkled some fairy dust on it, and it's good all of a sudden. I don't think so.
And then for me, Kimba has not played a game that's mattered in his career since UConn. Like, not to say that he's not ready for the bright lights because we saw what he did with UConn, but when's the last time Kimba played in a game that we cared about? He did not play in one in Charlotte.
That's true, but I think he's proven himself in that.
Yeah, and it's a first round series.
Yeah.
I think he'll be all right.
All right, then we got Toronto, Brooklyn. That game was a blowout. Then it got close, but I think Toronto in a sweep, honestly.
Brooklyn might steal one. Karis LeVert's a problem.
Yeah,
I've got Brooklyn stealing one gentleman's sweep. They looked really good against Portland. Tough, scrappy team. They're just missing too many people, but they just find a way. So I wouldn't be surprised they snag one.
What do they do with LeVert next year?
That's where I was about to go. Did you listen to Simmons and Russillo already?
I was halfway through it.
Yeah. So do you think LeVert and Dinwiddie stay around next year? I don't see how that works.
Yeah, one of them is like they just don't have enough like PT for all of them. Or shots, because
shots is what matters. Damn the playing time. Shots, touches.
Yeah,
because
you bring back DeAndre now too. So DeAndre
is there
because KD wanted him.
Why do they want him? He's damaged goods. He's washed.
But
I want to find out.
4 years, $40 million.
Do y'all Eric? Would you like to see Karis like as your little spark plug off the bench in LA? He's what we want Waiters to be this year.
But he does like watching him in the Portland game, he doesn't really shoot as much. He gets to the basket like at will. When he gets in the paint, he's going to score. But if you keep him outside of the paint, which is not an easy thing to do, like he's not just going to really create and get a bucket. So we have a lot of dudes that need to operate already in the paint and aren't great shooters. So I don't think that one really does much for us.
That's why if I'm Brooklyn, I want to hold on to Dinwiddie over LeVert because Dinwiddie can shoot that night.
Yeah, I mean it's a good problem for Brooklyn to have that I feel like they're getting somebody else back too. That's slipping my mind, but yeah.
All right, so sticking with the East, so we all got Milwaukee, Miami second round versus Boston, Toronto, right?
Yeah.
All right, so Milwaukee, Miami. I got Miami in 7.
I got the Bucks in 6.
Yeah, I got the Bucks in 6.
So, and here's why I got Miami in 7. For one, excuse me, Miami has a defender who's actually tall and long enough, to compete with Giannis at his peak height, right? But also athletic enough to move with him laterally. And Miami is tough. They're going to play hard defense. They're deep as hell, and they're not deep. They're not deep like a lot of playoff teams where they're deep, but these guys can't come in and play. And then I just believe in Jimmy Butler over Giannis as a player in the last 3 minutes of a game. Like, Jimmy has it. People have been calling Jimmy crazy for years because of the way he acted in Chicago, the way he left Minnesota, and the fact that he chose Miami without having another player committed to coming there over going back to Philly with that young team. But what Jimmy has shown you now that he has a core of younger players around him who see him as the best player of the team and allows him to be the true alpha, along with that Miami culture, they have something down there, and I think they're really, really special. And I think they have the tools to make the run because, again, they have the guy. If we need a bucket right now, no matter what level, whether it's 3, mid-range, at the basket, or even a free throw line, we can get that from Jimmy Butler. Whereas I don't trust Giannis to make a clutch free throw, nor do I trust Giannis to make a 3 ever. So I just think that they're going to play them tough, and that Miami culture is just going to, overflow into that game. And Duncan Robinson, man, he's automatic from 3.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with what you're saying. Like, it's all good stuff. I just pulled up the season series between them, and Miami took it 2 out of 3. One of those was in October, the other one in March, and then the last one, the Bucks one, was in August in the bubble. So I mean, I think they're all valid, but like, I don't know, like, I'm still gonna take my Milwaukee.
Yeah, I think Bam has done the best job guarding Giannis, but it's just not the same as they don't have the same team that Toronto had last year. They're a very good team, a very deep team, but Butler's not Kawhi, so he's not going to go and get you as many buckets either, and the team's just not as well constructed. I think that
he doesn't get the buckets that Kawhi gets, but he does dish the ball a lot better than Kawhi does.
Yeah, I'll give you that, but I still think Giannis. You take Giannis out, and then it's not like he and Jimmy are going to cancel because I don't think he's going to guard Jimmy. But keeping Giannis, say Giannis gets 22 a game, like I still think, which would actually be shutting Giannis down. I think they still win this series. It'll be tough.
Giannis gets 22 a game, they're beat.
We're going to find out.
All right, so then we got Boston-Toronto in a 2-3 matchup. This one was a struggle for me because, like I told y'all, before the bubble started, I had Boston winning the East. But I've watched them in the bubble. I'm afraid of what might happen to them. Even though they're up right now, I'm afraid of what Boston is because I think Brad Stevens loves Gordon Hayward entirely too much.
That's his guy.
That's his guy, yeah, from when Gordon was 16. I think he loves Hayward a little bit too much. And I don't know what Kemba's knee is going to be. And they have no post defense. Not that Mark Gasol or Serge Ibaka are going to kill you in the post. But I just see Toronto edging it out. And maybe that's because I think Toronto has the best coach in the league right now. And Brad Stevens is overrated.
You had me in the first half, and then you said Brad Stevens is overrated.
I think Brad Stevens is a great coach, but like he's Jim Harbaugh to me, man. He gets so close to winning, but he hasn't won it yet. But we put him in his upper echelon of coaches, and I don't like putting people in that upper echelon if they don't have any jewelry on their finger.
I mean, if we're sticking with yeah, okay. If we're sticking with the comparison, like it's hard for Harbaugh to get kids to come to Michigan, just like Brad Stevens has been doing it without. I don't care what anyone says. Like the Isaiah Thomas teams were fun, but they should not have been where they were. And
but when he got a superstar, he didn't know how to coach them. They got worse.
Well, Kyrie probably the worst.
Kyrie's special, and Gordon Hayward broke his ankle like 17 seconds into the season. So that whole thing went awry quickly.
He's brought these young guys up fast.
Yeah. Jason Tatum
I think he's great at developing young talent. I think he is good at getting players to overachieve. But when Jason Tatum takes that next step and becomes a superstar that we think he's going to become, or at least that I think he's going to become, it's going to become a problem.
I don't think so. I see where the comparison comes from, but I think Kyrie is just an anomaly that most coaches have had. I mean, he's only had a couple, but his coaches have had a problem with. He's a special case, and I don't think comparing Jason Tatum. I think Jason Tatum is hungry. He's going to become a superstar, and comparing him and Kyrie, for one, is foul. You disrespected him. But I think Jason Tatum's going to be the type of superstar that Brad Stevens is going to work very well with.
Disrespected who?
Jason Tatum. Saying he's going to handle things the way Kyrie did.
I'm not saying he's going to handle things the way Kyrie did.
It's going to be problematic.
I think that Brad Stevens' style will become problematic for him once he gets into his own. You see, he's complaining about the referees not giving him superstar calls. It's like, hey, bro, you've only made one All-Star game. Chill.
I don't have anything to say to that.
So who you got winning the series, Boynk?
Like I was telling y'all, like pre-production, that this is the other one that was like 50-50 for me. I do like I've mentioned the concerns that I have with the Celtics, and Toronto's just good. Every time I expect them not to be good, this whole season I've just been waiting for them to sink back down to earth, and they haven't. So I'm finally buying in that they are the 2 seed in the East, for real. So I'll take them over Boston, probably in 7. I think a lot of those games are going to come down to the last possession, at least 5 of them or so, 5 or 6.
That's fair. We did not go into the Philly thing. I forgot about that. So Philly gets put out first round. What do y'all think they should do?
Blow it up.
Okay, Joel, blow it up how? Blow it up where? Who stays, who goes?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this earlier today. If you keep, Simmons or Embiid, because I think you should keep both of them. I don't really like either of those players, to be honest. They're both annoying to me because Simmons, just the way he plays and his refusal to shoot, and then Embiid just kind of acting like Dwight Howard and just not bringing it every night.
Bro, he's Dwight Howard with a skill set.
Yeah, exactly, which is even more frustrating than actual Dwight. So
Tobias got a shot blocked off the glass by Daniel Tice.
You said what?
Tobias has got a shot blocked off the glass by Daniel Tice. You talk about somebody who's overrated. Tobias. Overpaid.
I like the Sixers team minus Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, and both of them have are injury prone. I mean, I guess I would keep Embiid because he has a higher ceiling, because I think at this point Ben Simmons he's not going to shoot ever.
He went to a psychologist during the quarantine, and it's helping him with his shooting.
I'll believe it when I see it. But I don't even care if he's not shooting well. I just want to see him take. I think he took 6 threes this entire year, which is 6 more than he's ever taken. I would like to see him at least take them and live with the results, but at least take them. And
here's why I keep Embiid, because when I hear that my other all-star has to go to a psychologist to get him just confident enough to shoot a 3, that tells me he has some other issues that I do not want to build my franchise around. Oh, well, bro, you are scared to shoot the 3 because you're scared you're gonna miss. What else are you scared of? I get that it's one thing to be clammy, fearful in clutch situations, which I don't want my franchise to be built around, but maybe you overcome that. But bro, you can't knock that. You can't even shoot a wide open 3 because you scared you're gonna miss. Bye. Pack your bags. You and Brett Brown, y'all can leave together.
Oh yeah, Brett Brown needs to go too.
Yeah, Brett Brown got to go. And honestly, as much as I like him, I feel like Horford's got to go. Like, just watching them, he just kind of looks out of place in whatever it is they're trying to do. I like him a lot. He can stretch it, but I just don't know where he fits in. I think you have to keep Embiid and Simmons and Harris. But I think
And
Horford is
don't
actually
work.
Yeah, but if you can't get rid of Embiid, he's the best player. If you get rid of Simmons, what are you gonna get back for him? Like, you just keep kind of tinkering with it, hoping it's gonna work. I'd give Simmons one more year, but I think Horford is like, I don't think that's ever going to work.
Well, Al Horford came for the bag.
Yeah, I understand. And now they're saying adding this great player, it's not going to do anything for you.
Bro, they got like 4 max contracts on the books, man. Like, they're gonna get pennies on the dollar. Here's their problem: they drafted Markelle Fultz, right, instead of Jason Tatum.
That just would have been like one more person like taking up. Like, they have too many.
They never acquired Tobias Harris then, and then you got Jason Tatum on a cheap ass contract.
That's true.
Also, something that is not my original piece is the idea of bringing players into a losing culture, and the idea is to lose early on, and they become losers because their mindset is not on winning, because the franchise is not built upon winning. And you got Ben Simmons, you have Joel Embiid, who showed up to a losing culture. You have Tobias Harris, who's been pretty much a loser his entire career, except for, I mean, the Clippers got better when he left last year. You know what I mean? So, like, Al Horford is like the only winner who matters on that roster, and he's terrible on the court with Simmons and Embiid.
Yeah, they got to do something, because they like I said, they have a lot of good pieces, but like they don't play well together at all.
Yeah, they got good pieces that don't fit. They have some of the best wood, right? Some of the best square pegs, but they only have round holes.
Yeah,
round holes are some great round holes, but they don't have any cylindrical fucking pegs to put in there. They got goddamn square pegs.
Yeah, I think it starts with Brown. Brown for sure got to go.
Oh, yeah, he's a terrible coach. He does not adjust at all. He just sucks.
Yeah, and I wish Embiid would like
care
not roll as much and care, because like if he was like taking care of business on the court, I wouldn't have a problem with like controlling off the court. But now it's just getting annoying. It's like, you know, when T.O. got old and like he's still doing his T.O. antics, and it's like, all right, bro, like it was cool when like you were good.
Whoa. You're not gonna compare Joel Embiid to T.O. because T.O.'s last season he had almost 1,000 yards. T.O. was always good.
His antics were just old though.
But he was still producing at a high level consistently, and nobody was outworking T.O. in the building. So that's why I don't like the T.O. comparison.
But like antics only. Like, and that's what my problem is with.
I understand the antics, but if you're going to use the antics, I prefer a Randy Moss comparison, somebody who we know that was really great top end, but not necessarily put in the work day in and day out. T.O. was a fucking hard worker, and anybody who's been around him will say he was a hard worker, despite
he is, or was.
Yeah, to me, he's more closely compared to Ocho Cinco. Just like he has spurts, but he's more antics than production. And he's thinking it's just going to come together and he's going to be the man. But, like, you're running out of time. This stuff is just not going to happen.
Yeah, the process. And, like,
yeah, he had his all-pro season, and we were like, oh, man, this dude's turning a corner. And then once he had that, then the antics really kicked up.
Bro, like, in this year, his numbers were not great. He only averaged, like, 23 a game. It's like, Joel, what is that?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And, like, for you to be doing all this, like, extra stuff, like you're, you know, big man on campus, like take care of the business on the court first, and then like do whatever
bro.
on the court.
Be Shaq.
And even like in the bubble when Ben Simmons got hurt, like perfect time to like step up and
I hurt my ankle.
Over. Yeah, and it's like, okay, you get hurt, whatever. I'm not gonna ever like say somebody's faking an injury or like can't play because like I'm not that person. I don't know, but like.
I will say if you sprain your ankle, you push through that thing. It's not that bad. It's just a rolled ankle. Tape it up.
Yeah. Well, he like played the next game, I think.
Exactly.
He came back like that, or like, you know, it was.
It's bad because he could be the best big man in the league if he really put his mind to it and wanted to.
Yeah. Bro, he could be top. He could be top 4 in the league.
So that's what's frustrating. He's got all the talent in the world and just won't use it.
He's a 7'2" body with feet. He has good feet.
Yeah.
Like, he ain't got Joker feet. He got feet. That boy can play some defense. Anyways, so I got Miami beating, I got Toronto beating Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals by a slim margin. I don't know the games, but I just think that Toronto's championship pedigree, little fat ass Kyle Lowry, who I hate, but he just is Chris Paul light from his level of annoyance. Just the little stuff that he does on the court that like doesn't show up in the stat sheet but makes a difference. I think that gets them over the top to win the East. And I assume y'all have Giannis winning the East.
You're correct.
Yeah. I'm not mad at
Toronto in 6.
Yeah, I'm not mad at your pick though. Like, I agree with what you're saying.
Well, yeah, because my picks are damn good, and they're probably right.
We'll see about that, bucko.
All right, let's get to the Western Conference. LA, Portland, round 1. I think Portland's probably the most overrated, oversold 8 seed in history. I don't think they are a typical 8 seed, but they've had their backs against the walls, and they got some dogs in there. You put a dog against the wall, they're gonna fight. They're gonna fight to get up out of there. But at some point, they don't have the talent, they don't have the defense. Who's gonna guard LeBron? Last time AD seen these guys in the playoffs, he sent Dame home crying early, and that's when Dame became the great player that he was. They just don't have
a lot of on Drew Holiday though. Like, give Drew his credit. Drew did a lot of that work.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, they was playing great defense and they was trapping Dame. That's why Dame can shoot from half court now. He talked about it. Like, he was like, yeah, bro, they was trapping me there. I couldn't do nothing. So I learned how to shoot from there.
That's, I like to call him J-Rue.
Yeah, J-Rue. So I got Lakers in a gentleman's sweep.
Same.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's talking about, like you said, Portland's not typical AC, but, like, they don't have anybody who could guard LeBron.
Nobody. And Philly is on the 13-0 run right now. We got Clippers, Dallas 2-7. I got Clippers in a gentleman's sweep. I think Giannis and KP go dumb one game together, and they end up inking that game out. But
yeah, you said Giannis. We know what you
mean. Yeah. Sorry, Luke. I like you. I like Luke. He's a Euro. I like. I like Luke and KP going crazy one game. 4-5. I got OKC.
That one could go either way. I got Houston in 7.
Yeah. That one I was whoever.
That one's tough because it comes down. Steven Adams is either going to get like 25 rebounds a game or you're not going to be able to play him at all.
That and it depends on when they get Russ back too. Because they're talking about him coming back like around game 3 or so.
They could be down 2-0.
Yeah, if you're down 2-0, then like.
And you got to throw in a dud for Russ, the game where he goes like 4 for 19.
Exactly. I honestly like. I don't know how with their small ball lineup, like how that. I have no idea how this series is going to play out. Like with Steven Adams. Like, I didn't watch them too much in the seeding games. I caught them like here and there, but I have no idea.
All right, so question for you: If my prediction stands, it comes to pass, and OKC wins, does Houston blow it up? I think they blow it up, and here's why I think that. They have Tillman Fertitta, who's their owner, who is a what his book is like Shut Up and Listen or some shit like that. He did not hire Daryl Morey, and he was very upset about Morey's comments on the whole China controversy. Daryl Morey is a great GM who is great analytically, but his numbers consistently fail him in the postseason as opposed to the regular season. And I think, and D'Antoni his contract expires at the end of the year. So I could see them blowing this whole thing up. Fertitta bringing in his own GM, and then that GM obviously bringing in his own coach. What do you guys think about that?
Agree. Like,
yeah.
What Morey's been there for a hot minute now, and
he's been there since the T-Mac days.
Yeah. But they made the Western Conference Finals like once.
Once, yeah, 2018.
20, yeah, 20 with when Chris Paul.
Yeah, Chris Paul's
He was
hamstring.
on our test too in like 2009. Don't know if that matters.
Yeah, it does because that's when Kobe decided he wanted to run our test on his team because they were.
He's kept them relevant in like through all their ups and downs. He's kept them relevant for a decade. So I mean, he's done a really good job, and it just sucks for him that once they really got clicking, the Warriors became the Warriors. So
yeah, then Daryl Morey becomes the hottest free agent GM in NBA history.
That's true.
And maybe he goes to Philly. No, I don't think they fire Elton Brand yet. I wonder where he goes though. He goes somewhere and he turns somebody's ship around because he's going to create a winner.
Orlando.
I don't know about a champion, but a winner. So also we got the battle of Chris Paul versus James Harden, Russ versus OKC. If Russ can make it back, who won that trade?
I think OKC did.
OKC.
Well, thank you guys for stimulating content here. We can't debate that. On to our 3-6 matchup.
Ask better questions.
Fuck you. That's number 3 with 2 birds thrown in there. Denver beat Utah in game 1 in overtime. They won by 10. Utah doesn't have Mike Conley because his wife I think his wife just had a baby. But Bogdanovich is he didn't come to the bubble because of surgery. Donovan Mitchell had 57.
I feel bad for him. He ends up in the same spot in the playoffs every year with no
They
help.
should have won that game too. Like they really fumbled the bag towards the end. They had game 1 won.
Yeah.
Oh, Joel Embiid shooting threes and making them. Oh shit, the Celtics are in trouble. And then you got Denver who pulls it out. I think Denver wins the series. I think Denver is a really good team, but I'm questionable about what Denver becomes because Michael Porter Jr. has definitely stepped into that 3-role nice. He's really shown that like, hey, yo, I am what I was supposed to be. I am what everybody thought that I was going to be before my injury. Bobo looked good in the bubble for a couple of games, so we're going to talk about him way more than we should. But they got Jokic, whatever, Joker, whatever you want to call him. He's there, so like that's going to limit what Bobo can do. And then Jamal Murray came back late. We're still waiting on Gary Harris to come back, and we're also waiting on Will the Thrill Barton to come back. And what I'm afraid of is once these veteran players come back, Michael Porter Jr. doesn't get the opportunity to actually boogie the way that he wants to. And I just think they have too much really good talent that they will never be able to get to where they need to be or where their talent can pull them because of the people because they have Jokic. They have what's my man's name from Kentucky?
Jamal Murray.
They have Jamal Murray. Bo was looking like a lottery pick until he went down with injury. And because of his height, you're afraid of back injuries with people like that, or foot injuries, whichever one it was. Back and feet are bad for big people. And I just think they just have too many high-end players who need the ball, so they're never going to reach their ceiling.
You sound like the 76ers of the West when you say it like that.
Yeah. Hey, y'all carry this conversation. I got to drain the main vein.
Okay.
Yeah, just talk about the Denver and Utah, man, and whatever.
Anyway, what do you have this series going to?
I think it'll go 6. I think Utah will get one. I mean, they should have won today. Like, I don't think Denver outplayed them. Utah, I caught like the first half of it and then kind of stopped paying attention a little bit. But like Denver looked very well, but then Utah kind of plowed their way back into it. So I think they'll probably get 1, maybe 2. So 5 or 6, but I think Denver's going to take it.
Yeah, I got Denver in 6, but watching it today, and it could go 6. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes less. I just think no matter how many games there are, every game is going to be a tough game.
No, it is. And I mean, like you saw, like I just don't think Donovan Mitchell put up 56 today or 57, and like they just don't have this enough firepower around him, which happens every year.
Yeah,
I feel bad for him because
Joe Ingles was doing well, but then like you needed to rely on like Royce O'Neal and two other hitting shots that I've never heard of until today.
Yang or whatever,
so I just don't think they have enough around, and Donovan's not going to give you 57 every game.
Yeah. And I feel for Donovan because I feel like he's never going to get his just due because he wasn't a big name coming out of his draft class. And he's going to overproduce early in his career, and then we're going to get tired of first and second round exits.
Probably, yeah.
But it's going to be like, well, look what's around him. Look what else is going on in the conference. What more can you expect? Like, he's getting the most out of himself and his team, but it's just not enough. Similar to, I think, an early Dame who like started like overproducing, then started underproducing, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I mean, what was that, like 2012 when he hit that big shot over Houston?
14.
Yeah.
And then like after that, it was just like, not a lot until his shot over OKC.
Instant playoff P pack. But anyway, so we all got Denver coming out of that. So I got the Lakers beating OKC in a tough 6. Hopefully Rondo's back for LA by then. He's I think he's cleared quarantine now. So now they're just waiting for him to finish healing up, start back, playing. Denver and the Clippers, man. I want to pick the Clippers because I just think they're better. But I don't want to pick the Clippers, but that's just me being that's just me not being objective there. What about you guys? Which I got LA and y'all got LA coming out of the second round?
Yeah.
I got a LA Western Conference Finals. I think the Lakers beat Houston in 5, maybe it goes to 6. And then I think the Clippers beat Denver in a tough 6.
Dwight Howard gets his redemption on the Rockets?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, so the Battle of LA, the battle for Staples. Who's going to win?
Yeah, I'm going to say the Lakers because I want them to win.
Yeah, I feel like LeBron does turn it up against the Clippers because they're the cross-country, and then just because Kawhi and everything everyone says about him and Kawhi. I think the Lakers win that one. I think that one probably goes 7. But I think the Lakers do pull it out.
I don't know if the Lakers have enough firepower because they have not been shooting well at all.
No.
The board.
LeBron hasn't been carrying either.
But I think they get clicking in the first 2 series, and then LeBron just turns into just the playoff LeBron we all know and love.
But he still needs some people to make shots. I think I read somewhere that Danny Green was shooting
They're all shooting terribly.
Yeah.
When
they need to pick it up for sure.
Yeah, the all bubble team people that didn't show up, it's just the whole Lakers.
Basically, yeah.
I agree. Well, I just said freaking that's disgusting. I think LeBron just turns into a whole nother beast. But here's something I think about Kawhi. And I hinted at it earlier. I'm not the biggest Kawhi. Let's woo Kawhi. I mean, he's great. He's top 5. But I just think Kawhi has just fortunately played in like 3 of the best organizational cultures at the time that he was there and been a good to great player, but been a byproduct of those cultures. And he's not like the guy who creates the culture, sets the culture, he's a damn good cog in the machine, but I don't know if he builds the machine, if that makes any sense. Or am I just tripping?
It does, but I don't think it matters.
Yeah, he does. He's gone to 2 separate places and won championship finals MVP.
Yeah, he played with the great Spurs. They won 5.
But even when Tim Duncan and all them left in 17, they won like 67 games. And if it weren't for the Warriors, not 67, they won 62, I think. If it weren't for the Warriors, and if it weren't for Zaza Pachulia, like, who knows what happens? I think they still lose that series, but they steal game 1, and then, like, for everyone, it's all up in the air of what's going to happen. But
they steal game 1, and they lose in a gentleman's sweep.
Like, Kawhi is as legit as they come.
Yeah.
Yes, I just think he has benefited by not actually having to be in a situation to like turn anything around. He's been in just great landing spots. And for me, I know it's not his fault, but for me, it's like, what do you look like when the shit around you is terrible? I feel like we can't accurately judge players if they're only in good situations all the time. Like, how much of their greatness equates to the team's success, despite the fact that they're really fucking great?
I mean, majority of players now, anyways, with the whole players movement and players taking the power in their own hands, send themselves to good situations. Like LeBron, post the decision, never sent himself a place he needed to turn things around.
The Lakers.
But he knew AD was coming. Like, that whole first year was a wash. He was like, I'm chilling. I know my man's is coming. They weren't expecting him to turn anything around last year. Nobody was.
Skip Bayless did.
Skip Bayless doesn't believe half the things that come out of his mouth. Like, nobody was putting pressure on LeBron. Like, you got to win now. Once AD came, they're like, all right, this is what you were waiting for.
All right, so who wins the title?
Whoever comes out the West.
I got Lakers beating Toronto.
Yeah, I got the Lakers. I got money
on Vegas, Josh Holsey.
What'd you say?
I just want to say send that to Vegas, Josh Holsey, because he said we don't know shit about sports, and that bothered me.
Yeah.
It didn't really bother me. It just
J-Ho.
J-Ho, what a hoe. Anyways, so I think we hit pretty much everything that we talked about, that I wanted to talk about. Oh, yeah, we're talking about the Clippers. And one of my issues with the Clippers, man, is I feel like they're carrying themselves like they've done it before. And you have Doc, who won a championship with the Big Three Celtics, and you have Kawhi, who's won 2 championships, one with the Spurs and one with Toronto last year, obviously. But I don't like the sense of entitlement that they have, nor do I like the fact that people are just making it okay for them to act like this when they haven't accomplished shit.
I mean, I think they take, like, going back to your best player, like, leadership thing, like, you kind of can take on the persona of, like, the leader on your team or the best player if it is the same person.
All right, so
Kawhi is walking around like he has obviously, like, done this shit before, then, like, he sets the tone for his team, which is a good thing.
So you believe in playoff P?
No, I'm talking about Kawhi.
I know you're talking about Kawhi. Kawhi has one bad game. Do you believe in playoff P? Because if you look at Kawhi's numbers going through the finals and even the end of the Bucks series, he wasn't efficient. It was all just volume.
Yeah, he got the job done though.
I know he got the job done, but does his supporting cast, do they step up when they have to? Is Lou Williams Van Vliet?
From, like, a scoring perspective, yeah, like, from, like, a, point guard, like, run the offense through me, like, obviously not. He's a scorer. That's not his game.
But I'm saying, does he step up in that big moment when Lou has not played a big game, like, ever in his career, if we're being honest?
I think he does.
I love Lou. I'm just asking.
Yeah, no, I think he does. If he was, like, a younger guy, like, I would be, like, skeptical, but I mean, he has, like, what, 13 years in the league. Like, I think he knows what.
05.
What'd you say?
He was drafted in 05.
Yeah, so 15. Like, I think he knows what he's doing at this point.
Yeah,
and he's been on, like decent teams. Like, Grant, he was in the playoffs last year as an 8th seed. Like, I think he'll be fine, and I think that team as a whole will be fine.
I wouldn't be surprised if we do finally see playoff P. Like Paul George hasn't really shown me much in the playoffs outside of 2013.
Yeah.
But all those times, everybody was keying on him. He was the best player on the team. And I know Russ has been great, but Paul George was the best player on the team last year. Was having an MVP season, first team All-NBA. And you knew, like, yes, Russ can hurt us, but Paul George is the one. Now, if Kawhi is the focus and PG is the second option, PG, I think, is going to flourish in that kind of situation instead of having to be the main person in these playoffs. And I think that's going to be a scary thing that could happen this year.
Russell Westbrook does not play winning basketball. But I think we've hit everything. Oh, yeah. We had some funny topics we wanted to hit that I didn't do any research on. Joel, what you got for the funny topics?
What was it? The football player who tried to sneak the forgot.
But from the Seahawks, I forgot his name. I don't feel like looking through the messages to figure out what it was. We came up with a team named after him. Like what 5 players do we think would actually sneak somebody in?
So obviously, starting off with JR. He's JR. Dion Waiters, because he's JR light. Jordan Clarkson. And I have him on here because I feel like he kind of went through like a quarter life crisis because he had like no tattoos at all. And then he's just like completely inked now. So like I feel like, he tried to like break the rules just because like, he's like just going through, he seems like a teenager or something to me, So I got him. Dwight. He has like 9 kids by 8 different women. Like he obviously likes to get it in until he's just not smart anyway. And then, I was thinking about like somebody from Orlando that has probably some work down there, like, locally that they don't even have to fly in.
What do you mean by work?
Some work.
A roster.
Yeah. So I got Aaron Gordon. They know that they're not going to beat the Bucks. Like, might as well, like, have your number 1, number 2 come through. Try to
probably number 2 because I can imagine Aaron Gordon having like a little shorty who's probably working in the bubble.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
They got support staff there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like who y'all think is at the front desk, like macking? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, yo, shorty, what's happening?
Go with Dwight again.
I'll really JR. Clark kind of pipe.
I'm not gonna lie to you. So my 5 all come from the Lakers. KCP.
Yeah.
JR, Dion.
Yeah.
Kuz.
Oh yeah, Kuz is up there too.
And Dwight.
Yeah, Lakers were not looking good.
And Bron's upstairs pissed. They've been in the bubble the whole time, and we just didn't know it.
I got Rudy Gobert on here too, because he's just childish for starting this whole thing, so might as well finish it.
I would have taken out KCP and I would have stuck with Jordan Clarkson, but the majority of the dudes I think are also on the Lakers.
Yeah, their team is just ridiculous.
And that's why
I also just somehow see Pat Bev being like, fuck these rules.
Yeah.
I low-key think the reason why like the different Clippers were leaving the bubble were not for legitimate reasons. Like yeah, Trez. I'm not talking about Trez. But like just the people who came late, the people who were like leaving out, bro, they was just going to kick it with their shorty, kick it with their wife, get some pussy. Like, bro, why not?
Yeah, I would try to skip as much as training camp as I could too.
And that's why we're not in the league.
Well, I'm also 5'8", so that's why I'm not in the league.
Hey guys, this was freaking fun though, man. I really enjoyed it. So we all got the Lakers winning it. Y'all are just killing me for my anti-Giannis takes. That's okay. Y'all are wrong. I'm right. But this was so fun. I really enjoyed talking to you guys. Is there anything else y'all want to put out here before I sign off?
No, man. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Be out of Savannah all day.
Yeah, whatever he just said. But
I don't know what he said.
Savannah all day.
This was fun. Big baby.